y'all. Just look at this. So sorry. 1 second. Actually, I don't really know if I can do much with it. Because when I would do this when I put it away, so that's why it does that. Anyways, hi. How are you? It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. And I am here with a little bit about Alot because I have not seen anybody for over a week. I've been a busy little bee. Guys, I've been so busy wrapping some things up that the Lord had me do, things that I could not put aside. Like I had a time crunch that the Lord said, I want you to do this. I want you to finish this. So I was like, okay. So that's why it's been a minute since you've seen me. But I have not forgotten about our love series and our recovery series. So what I've decided to do for this stream is to kind of consolidate everything, to kind of catch us up and get us ready for next week. It is Thursday, and I typically call Thursdays Therapy Thursdays, so I figured why not? Let's just put it all together in one little salad and enjoy. So I want to start with our Recovery Tuesdays series. The second one. So this is friends, followers. I call this friends, followers, and faded connections. Okay, and if you don't remember last week, or it was last week because I started this in February. Last week I talked about family, tribe, divinely aligned, and assigned. So if you haven't seen that one, I encourage you to go watch that. But we're talking in the context of healthy and unhealthy love, because I am talking about love this month. So that's what we're going to talk about today with friends, followers. I use the word followers on purpose because that is a terminology that we are very familiar with in our digital age, and faded connections referring to people that you've been connected to in your life that were faded. So they were destined to happen, whether it was for the positive or the negative, and how to kind of maneuver through this. Okay, so by the way, hi everybody, welcome, good to see you. Thanks for coming and saying hello. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a part of the She's Restored family. I welcome all of you. I do have a lot to share, actually. You guys, I have a lot to share, a lot. And I feel like that's why I call this a little bit about a lot. But I am ready for those of you that are ready for one-to-one coaching with me, whether it's the inner healing, spirit, soul, and body care, or it is artist coaching. I have updated my channel. So you can go to my website and book with me, and certainly share it with others who you feel would be blessed by my services and my calling and my gifts. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. So if you feel like this is for you, please connect with me. I would be honored to walk alongside y'all and help you on your journey, whatever it is. But yeah, so welcome to She's Restored. So yeah, let's start with friends. Okay, take a minute and think about your friends. Think about the friends you have now. And maybe think about friends you've had in the past. And think about yourself as a friend. Are you the friend that people can count on? Or are your friends the friends that you can count on? Now, what's important to remember with friends, and I'm talking about true friends. We're going to get into acquaintances in a minute. But true friends are those who have been with you through the thick and the thin. These could be friends that you had in certain seasons of your life. And I venture to say most of us have not had friends throughout our entire life. Some of us do, are still connected to our old friends, maybe that we grew up with. But do you really still connect with them? I feel like this is a rarity that some of us have friends that we still talk to, that we grew up with. And if you do, then you're very blessed to have those people in your life throughout your life. But think about your friends for a minute. Some of us are the type that have very few friends, but they're very close friends. Others of us are the type that have a lot of friends and maybe not as close. Where are you in this spectrum? And I'd love to hear, actually, if anybody wants to share their story about their friends and how they've been there for you throughout your life, or how you've been there for them throughout their life. I am personally the type that had very few and close friends. I'm somebody who's always really I've always connected with depth in my relationships. So the friends that I had, and actually I'm still in touch with my friends today, but we don't hang out all the time like we used to. But I have a few friends that I've been connected to since I was in early high school. And it's awesome. It's actually very awesome whenever we do connect, or we do say hello, or we do see how each other's doing. It's beautiful. So I am blessed in that respect to still have some friends that I grew up with. But what's important to remember, hi everybody, good to see y'all. What's important to remember with friends though is most often than not, friends are in our life for seasons, different seasons. And this is true, I think, with a lot of relationships, but now let's talk about acquaintances. Acquaintances is a whole different thing. Acquaintances are people that you consider friends, but you're not very close. These are not people that you would sit and talk about your relationships with, or, you know, kind of intimate things about your life. They're probably not people that you would call if you had an emergency. They're just people that you know casually. So yeah, it's important to know the distinguished space that you relate to friends. Now, yeah, sadly, I know. We're going to get into that actually, because that's important. This sounds like maybe some of you are that friend. And I relate to you, actually. Some of you are that friend and true friend that you would go above and beyond if they needed you. And perhaps you are the friend that initiates the relationship. In other words, if you don't call, you don't hear from them. If you don't make plans, you don't see them. And this, you guys, this actually goes into more understanding the part of you that perhaps is a little bit closer to the toxic empathy, where you're always giving, always over extending yourself. And it's a beautiful thing actually to be empathic, but sometimes we have to remember, like, I don't have to always feel like I have to be the one to call my friend. Even though there's a part of me that wishes, you know, I wish they would call me. I wish they would see how I'm doing. If I don't reach out, I don't hear from them. But again, where are you in this dynamic of your friends and your friendships and your acquaintances? This is important to understand about self. And also, some of it really is, I mean, it could just be you're in different seasons. Maybe some of you have families and your friends are still single. So you don't maybe connect as much as you did when you were younger or in your college years or wherever you are. So yeah, all of that is important to take into consideration. They don't give as much as you do, drop them. Relationships are two-way. Yeah, it's important to have those boundaries. Absolutely, have those boundaries to allow yourself to heal. Now, on the flip side, some of us have had toxic friendships, even lifelong or very, very lengthy friendships. Maybe in your group of friends, you know, you had one friend that was sort of the one who, I'm thinking of that movie. What's that movie called? Mean Girls. Or there's another one I was thinking of. Mean Girls is one of them. But that friend that's just, you know, she kind of has to be the one to kind of tell everybody how to live their life or whatever. Some of us have had those kind of friendships where we feel like, if I want to be friends, then I kind of have to do whatever my friend wants to do. Or maybe you don't ever get to choose. And of course, you guys, everybody's in different ages and stages of this. But for those of you that are younger, my encouragement to you is to be yourself, because true friends will accept you for who you are. One thing I will say about my group of friends when I was in high school, the interesting thing about us is that we were kind of outcasts. Now, I grew up I was in high school like in the 90s, or early high school, I guess middle school to high school. But your people will find you. If you're true to self, your people will find you. And actually, this goes for all ages. This is very important to remember, especially if you've given, you know, those relationships over to God and asked Him for true friendships, because we do actually need that, and most of us want that. If you're true to yourself and you come to a place, especially if you're older and you've been through a lot, you come to a place where you have implemented healthy boundaries for yourself. You recognize which friend you were when you were younger. This is important. God will bring the right people to you for true friendship. And I don't feel like there's an age on that. I feel like, you know, friends come in different seasons, like I said, and a lot of us do want authentic connection, so that's important. I'm reading from Shiroi. Is that how you say your name? It's hard to know if someone is trustworthy enough not to go gossiping about what we just talked about, or someone just to trust. Many have their own intentions and drives. Shiro, thanks for sharing that. And that is a wonderful thing to share, actually. Yes, this is very true. It is hard to know who you can trust. Yes. See, you sound like my kind of friend, actually, because I do feel there are some things that you do want a trusted friend that you can share your burdens with, that you can share what you're going through with, and that it's going to be kept in confidence. Unfortunately, yes, a lot of us have been victim of people taking something sacred that we've shared, and then they share it with other people, and then it becomes public knowledge, and we feel betrayed. And this is a very real space to be, and I'm sorry that you've experienced that. Feels like we could have a big cup of tea. That would be great. Actually, I'd love that. Cup of tea. Where are you from, Shiro? I'd like to know. But yes, this is very important. Yes, because again, a friendship is considered a deep connected relationship. Somebody, a confidant, somebody that you are supposed to be able to trust. And of course, to the degree of the dynamic of the relationship. What I've learned about trust, though, and I'm going to share this as a blanket statement, but also in relation to friendships, because I have been through a lot of betrayal from people that I thought were going to be there for me through the worst you could imagine anyone could go through. Is this: I have learned to trust people to the degree that they are trustworthy. I have learned that as much as I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and a clean slate and open arms to, that is a reflection of my character, not theirs. And we do have to discern if it is this a person that I can consider a friend. What do I consider a friend to be? What are the attributes of a friendship that I esteem as valuable to my life? Also, obviously, what do I bring to my friendship? What are the things that my friends can count on? This is all very important, and I feel like that's part of the process of discerning, in addition to letting it organically happen, especially if you've prayed over this and you're in a season where you want friends, you want to connect with people. There's seasons where, again, if you've been through a lot, there's seasons where we kind of isolate and we need to be away. But then there's seasons where we're ready, like, you know what, I could really use, a friend who is on the same level as me. One thing I also will encourage is mentors. By the way, this is an open invitation to all of you. I am a life coach, a master life coach. I'm a mentor, I'm a teacher. So if you're looking for someone, you can reach out to me, shesrestored@gmail.com. But one of the things that I teach and I think is very valuable, especially, well, I say especially for women, but men and women, is to have someone that you can trust that you esteem as further along than you are. Someone who's wiser, someone who you can resonate with because maybe you have similar stories, because we all need someone who is wiser to pour into us. This is what I call for women the Titus 2 mentorship and relationship, which I firmly believe in. And then you should also have someone younger that you pour into, because there's valuable wisdom and knowledge in you that you've gained in your life that you can pour into younger women. And you guys, the women and the young girls of our generation, and I've seen it, they're very, 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 very much in need of guidance. I actually feel very sad for young girls that are growing up right now with the culture that they see. It's very different than those of us that are a little further removed from TikTok and this whole generation of plasticity and fakeness. And it's something that really gets to me because it makes me sad. It makes me very, very sad. So if you have younger girls in your sphere of influence, and you feel like you're ready to pour into them, I encourage you to do this. This is very important because they need guidance, a lot of guidance. They need guidance on just the foundational truth about what it is to be a woman, what it is to be someone worthy of being honored and respected. I mean, I think about like, and again, yes, I mean, I'm Generation X, so I don't know. I kind of feel like Generation X kind of rocks, you guys. I do. I've, I feel like we were like close enough, but further enough removed from the craziness. But yes, that you can be a woman without dishonoring yourself and disrespecting yourself. But anyways, that's a whole other discussion. The new gen are more avatar persona and less wholesome. Find one's own self. Yes. Northern Ireland, UK. Awesome. Awesome. Do you guys put milk in your tea as well as those in England? I'm just curious. I love tea myself, but the first time, or the only time actually, that I was in the UK, I had my tea with milk. It was good. It's quite good. Very different from us. I'm in Texas, so. But if you were to come over here and have tea, we would have iced tea. Because that's a Texas thing. We love iced tea, and we'll drink it in the winter because we just love tea. Fruit or green tea, no milk. Oh, nice. I love green tea too, actually. I drink green tea every night. But it's the store-bought one. The, what's it called? Arizona green tea. So good. Normal tea bag, hot water, and then milk. Nice. Very nice. Yes, iced tea is good. But I agree with you. Yes, there's a lot of emphasis on and yes, a lot of it is the whole AI thing and women. I mean, you guys, it is very sad when I think about this because I personally believe everyone is created uniquely and you should embrace and own your individuality, your beauty, because you are different than everybody else. But yes, women of today have been taught that I must aspire to look like so-and-so, to the point where I become cloned, sadly, cloned. It makes me very, very sad. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Tea and coffee with different foods. Well, I'd love to hear more. I'd love to hear some recipes. But tea and coffee, do explain. Like you put them together, like as one drink, tea and coffee? Yes, agreed. Beautiful statement. But yes, very important that we have younger generations that we're pouring into, older generations that we are pouring, or that we are being poured into from. Let's get into followers. Okay, good. I was gonna say, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's good. I've never tried it. Coffee and tea together. Followers. Okay, followers, this is, everybody knows what this word means. But what does it mean? I personally encourage, especially with my music and art community, Soñado Libre Sound, these are artists. Most of them are artists that are very young in their artistry. They're amazing. All of them are. They're amazing people, and they're doing their thing, and I encourage them. But what I encourage them a lot is to not equate fame with success. To not aspire to get well known, to feel like you've accomplished what it is that you're out to accomplish in your artistry, because they don't equate to each other. And don't be fooled by the numbers. Just because somebody has thousands of followers, again, we live in this weird society where people actually buy followers. I actually found out about this, I think, last year, that people can buy followers to grow their account, to get there. And of course, everybody has their methods and their motives. But my encouragement to you when it comes to followers, especially those of you that are in the social media perhaps market, or maybe that's how you're trying to get yourself out there, remember that your gifting is already yours. Your success is already yours once you find your gifting. I would encourage you to just allow, and of course not everybody thinks this way. I personally, I love organic growth. I love DIY. But let your followers be, and fans, I guess that's another word, fans and followers. Remember that what you're sharing, what you're giving, hopefully is for the greater good. It is to impact and influence others, and hopefully to a betterment of humanity. But yeah, and on the contrary, if you're someone who has maybe you're trying to grow your business or whatever, and you don't have that many fans or followers, let it happen naturally and organically, and it will. Trust me, God will bring the people that are aligned and assigned to you in His divine timing. Trust me. Okay, moving on. If someone gives you money is vastly different than going through so much to earn. Even sell it or yourself. Yeah. Good points. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of those things, like I said, there's so many different ways that people. One thing I've noticed, I'm going to say this actually, because I was thinking about it yesterday and today. I'm going to encourage you away from AI. You guys, I know we're moving toward this entire transhumanism society, but I'm going to encourage you away from AI to protect your own humanism, humanity, your own personal signature, because God gave you a signature voice, a signature fingerprint, a signature aesthetic. If you give it to AI, there's no telling what's going to happen to it. And I don't want that for you. I really encourage you guys not to fall into that trap. Regardless of how much more money you would make, regardless of how many more people you would reach, this is serious. This is a big deal. And I'll probably get into this another time, but keep your human signature to yourself, please. Please. Very important. Okay, and then my last one is fated connections. Fated connections are connections that were destined to happen, for the better or worse. This is everything from coworkers to toxic relationships that you had in the past, or frenemies. And really, when I'm saying this, I guess I'm thinking on both sides. But I want to encourage you, for those of you that have been on the negative side of this, God will use all of it. All the bad toxic relationships you had in the past, all the friends that weren't friends, you know, jealous coworkers, all of that. It has served purpose, or it is serving purpose for you. Sometimes it is to grow you. Sometimes I'm around toxic environments and toxic people as a training ground, especially if you're in recovery, if you're growing in your inner healing journey. You're in a space where you're, trying to be more bold in setting boundaries. Sometimes I'm in this space to train me to do this, almost in a disconnected way, so that I can do it. And trust me, it's much easier to do this with people that aren't as close in proximity as, let's say, family. It's harder to set boundaries with family, I think, earthly bloodline family, than it would be for coworkers or distant friends or things like that. So, but what I want to share here too is also this is important when it comes to understanding loving myself through this, is to forgive those who have betrayed you, who've hurt you, who've taken advantage of you, all of that. This is very important. That's a whole other teaching. But okay, so this is what I want to share for the Recovery Tuesdays, because you guys, I didn't see you all this week. Like I said earlier, I had a lot that the Lord had me focus on that I could not push pause on it. So now, anybody have any questions actually before I move on to the next kind of mini teaching? If someone gives you, okay, sorry, really tired. Oh, okay, no worries. Well, I'm so glad you joined us. I've enjoyed hearing from you. Thank you for sharing tonight. And yes, by all means, if you need to get some rest, please do. Very important. I'm actually working overnight with my day job, and this is my second overnight, and tomorrow I have my third, so hopefully I'll get some rest later on. I'm actually going to take a nap after this, you guys, for a little bit. But yes, if you need to leave and go take a nap or go to bed, I totally understand, and I hope to see you again. Is it love? So we're moving on to what is love, or our love series. By the way, I did this back in 2022. I encourage you to go scroll through my channel and find it. It is in, I guess, 4 years ago now. I taught on love God, love yourself, love one another. And I thought this month I would get into a little bit more on this. And so my second teaching, by the way, last week I introduced this, so I titled it, What is Love? So if you're interested, go watch that one. Is it love? Question mark. Is it love? Well, if I know what love is, then I can know if it is or isn't love. And I'm using this, again, very generally in all relationships. So this is romantic relationships, obviously, because it is the month of February. Family relationships, friendships, and just people that we know in general. Is it love? There are characteristics and attributes of love. And this helps us to understand and to know, is this really love that I'm experiencing with any given person. Now, I will say there is a distinction between, when it comes to romantic relationships, there is a distinction between those of us that are called to marriage. Okay, this is very important to understand for yourself as well. And when I say marriage, I am speaking of the traditional biblical man and woman marriage. This is where I'm teaching from. But it is important to know this for yourself. Are you called to marriage? Not everyone is called to marriage. So, with that said, if you are called to marriage, the Lord will, number one, He will affirm that in you. So you will know that and how you know? Well, you'll know because you spend time with the Lord and seek Him, but you'll know because there's a part of you that feels, I want and I need a person to walk alongside me in life and love me and honor me and take care of me, whatever it is for you. And I want to give that to someone. There is a distinction between a God-ordained union and me choosing someone or someone choosing me based on our own mental or emotional or physical desires. Okay? Take that in for a minute. This is why a lot of us find ourselves, and let me preface by saying this, if I'm not yielded to God's plan for my life yet, in general, but also when it comes to love, romantic love, marriage, finding my person, I'm going to be susceptible to entering a relationship with a counterfeit, or it'll be a counterfeit relationship versus what God actually has for me. This is why a lot of us end up in they call it, it's a buzzword. I first heard it from Pastor, what's his name? Pastor, you guys, I'm drawing a blank. R.C. Blake's. Pastor R.C. Blake's. That's the first time I heard this word a few years back, but situationship. Okay? What does that mean? It means you're in a relationship with someone, but there's no growth. It's just, you can feel that there's something missing. There's something not there. Or worse, a toxic relationship where, let's say, maybe you met somebody and you guys had a lot in common, or you had a point of reference that was a common ground, like music or something, and so you thought, oh, or they're pretty, or they're cute, or whatever, and so you start a relationship with this person, but realize that's it. We just have these cool things in common, but there's nothing more, or it's not growing, or it's not getting anywhere, or maybe you have different values.